himself in a game situation with all the hype surrounding him.
Phone on D&D, wake up, watch film. I talk to 5 people a day, so besides my teammates. So I only talk to the parents and then that's really it. So I just be chilling, go home, and I don't really do too much, eat and go to sleep. And I think the biggest thing with just whether you're college or NFL, you just got to have a routine. You know, I've had a routine for a couple of years now, and it's been helping me since.
As NFL training camps rage on across the league today, the New York Giants have named their starting quarterback. Head coach Brian Daboll says Russell Wilson will begin the season as the Giants' QB1. Tune in tonight on 94.9 The Fan for Nashville Sounds Baseball as they continue their series against the Charlotte Knights. Pre-game at 6:20 and first pitch at 6:35. For the Game Nashville Sports Network, I'm Connor Newton.
For more, log on to theGameNashville.com. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on what is a hot summer Wednesday in Nashville, Tennessee, as we broadcast from our digs at the Ford Ice Center. Let's start the show in Murfreesboro. Say hello to Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, what's going on?
I don't know it, George. How you doing?
Hanging in there. Hanging in
Nice.
there. Heat. Whew.
Hey, it's almost August in Tennessee.
That's
Summertime,
what we
baby.
expect. Yes.
That's
Speaking
right.
of which, hold on, since I didn't give you
Yeah, tell us
much of a
everything.
forecast, how about no rain supposedly until Saturday?
It's a miracle.
Mm,
It is a miracle.
How about it's hot? It's okay. It's summer.
very
It's
hot.
Tennessee. Let's go.
Billy, how are you?
I'm good. I was talking to somebody earlier today. I'd rather be cold, too cold than too hot. It's probably because I'm in the summer right now.
Mm,
I like
rather
the
be
heat
hot.
now.
I go the other way.
I go
You
the
can
other way
always-
too.
you
When
can
it
always-
gets really cold, I don't like it, Billy. I'd rather be this time of year. I could use a little bit of less humidity, but I mean, I'm good when I walk outside and it's hot. You sweat. You know you're doing something. You know what I'm saying?
If you're cold, you can always add things on. If you're too hot, you can only take so many things off.
You don't shiver when it's hot.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You could take off your shirt, but you know George ain't doing that.
No, we're not. What we are going to do, though, at the beginning of the show is acknowledge what some of you already know.
Oh. It's a tough one, man. Yeah.
Go ahead and say it.
Well, the passing of Aaron Donnick has hit a lot of people, especially George. George, I remember listening to you and Willie every day, and ended up meeting Aaron, and she was awesome, and you were way closer to her, than either of us.
She'd be shocked if she knew some of the tears that have been shed. She has battled cancer for close to a year now and lost the battle, I don't know, either yesterday morning or Monday night. I made the decision that until the family released anything, I was not going to. Couple of things about Erin, and those of you who ever dealt with her, you know this. Just an incredible personality, strong like nobody I have ever seen. Two things about her that really stood out for me. Number one, we all say this, in particular when friends pass away, that they put others ahead of themselves. And most of the time, it's a bunch of bull. And it's said, as sort of the platitudes of the respect for those who are no longer with us. Well, Aaron Donnick lived that 100% of her life. I don't know that I have ever been around anybody that put others ahead of herself. And secondly, and Willie and I have laughed about this over the years, Aaron had this unique ability to get you to do things that you'd never thought about doing or wanted to do. I'll give you, for instance, several years ago, after the first bowling deal, she came to me about a week after it was over and said, next year, STARS, Students Taking a Right Stand, a nonprofit who she worked tirelessly for. She said, next year, we're going to be a recipient. And I said, is that so? Yep. And I just said, okay. And then I told Willie, I said, with Aaron, I said, no is never an option. It just, it's not there.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I just can't imagine what Willie's going through. I texted him last night. I can't imagine something like that happening so young in your life. I just became an empty nester 3 years ago, but something like that. You're never ready for it. You never have the right words for it, and it's just I can't imagine what Willie and his kids are going through right now.
There are a couple of things I'm really happy about at the end. Number one, until about 3 weeks ago, Erin still had good enough health to go see her daughter, Evie, graduate at Northeastern up in Boston, Mass. And I'll be forever grateful that happened. And also that she was well enough to go see Mahoney pitch at Denison College in Ohio. I've had this talk with Willie in the last week because I honestly do not know where the strength has come from on his end to sit there every day on 102.5 facing what he and Aaron were dealing with, never give any of you any clue on the air that it was happening, and then take and broadcast what has to be the most disappointing year in Predator history and do all those TV games and never give you any hint of any of that. That is a strength that this just in, I don't have. And a lot of us don't have. And Willie showed incredible strength during Aaron's battle. To say that our world is a lesser place today is really accurate. She was an incredible human being, and I'm going to miss her.
I can't imagine, man. Can't imagine.
Praying
Good person, though, obviously.
Praying for Willie and his family. That's going to be a tough transition. You got your towel, though, George.
Yeah, at least I was smart enough. Look, I knew going in that this was not going to go well. I had one of these happen with Nick Hunter when Nick passed away, and I got 4 words into that one. I did better today. Aaron would be proud. But I really mean the things that I've said, and I hope, in all seriousness, I hope all of you will keep Willie and Evie and Mahoney in your prayers in the days and weeks ahead, because this ain't easy. This is real life.
Absolutely. Well, we transition.
Get me out of this.
Well, we've got a lot in the update. It is brought to you by the Tennessee-Illinois matchup. Music City Showdown coming up Saturday, December 6th at Bridgestone Arena. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. To cheer you guys up a little bit, we've got some more trash talk out of the ACC Media Days. Thomas Castellanos, remember his comments basically saying that Alabama didn't have Nick Saban to save them in their Week 1 game as the Florida State Seminoles face Alabama in Week 1. Well, at Media Days today, Castellanos said he doesn't regret saying any of that.
When you've done said some things differently?
Most definitely, but I stand on what I said. Well, we stand on what I said. So I said what I said. We stand on that, and I don't mean no disrespect to none of those guys at Alabama or anything like that. It's just I have confidence in my guys and the work that we've been putting in and preparing and the preparation we've been putting together. So that's all that was. I just no disrespect to those guys, but we stand on what I said.
Man, it is poop on the SEC week, isn't it?
Okay, that's right.
What? Let me ask you this. So they are clearly the nation's target.
Yep.
It is pretty obvious that the rest of the country is sick of the SEC. True?
They live rent-free in everyone's head.
As Tony said, man, yeah, there's a lot going on with the SEC, and I think people are sick of hearing about it.
But I'd tread lightly if I'm Florida State and Castellanos, because that'll be a motivated Alabama team coming up week 1. I would not want to be Florida State that day. They'll be better, but they're talking a lot while Alabama's just sitting back, gearing up for that one. Also, from Big Ten Media Days, Oregon head coach Dan Lanning is speaking from your hymnal, Kelly. He is advocating for college football to adopt an NFL-style schedule with limited bye weeks, no long layoffs for playoff teams, and a season that ends on January 1st rather than later in the month. Lanning told ESPN earlier today that you'd love to have the rust knocked off when you step on the field for playoff games. Oregon had to wait 25 days before playing Ohio State in the quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl, and we all know they fell behind 34-0 late in the first half and ended up losing 41-21. That's what Kelly's been saying this whole time.
Keep talking, Kelly.
I know what Chris said the other day when you talked to him at the SEC Media Days, but I feel as though, and I'm going to say it for the 1,000th time, I feel as though that when you get later in January and you get on into February is when the Super Bowl is, but like that's the time that America and the tradition of the NFL has come about. I mean, you're used to college football being, like I said, when we were kids, you had the bowl games January 1st, and that's when we look forward to. I know there wasn't near as many as there is now, but I just think the college game needs to, hey, we're going to finish it before then, and then now we're going to let the NFL take over, and that's how I feel, and I'm not going to change that.
Also, according to Fox 26 in Georgia, Bulldogs 4-star safety commit Chase Calicut has been arrested. He has 2 charges against his name after a violent driving incident.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Another one.
But he's not even there yet. This is a commit.
Right.
So I don't.
Gracious.
See if you all buy this. Okay, this is going to sound like an old fuddy-dud here at the beginning. One thing that colleges need to do is teach young people life skills like how to balance a checkbook.
Totally
7
agree.
2 equals 5. But the other one, the University of Georgia needs to install driver's ed for their football players. I mean, why is Kirby Smart putting up with this?
It's absolutely amazing, George, that you have. I was just on the phone with one of my neighbors here, one of my good friends. He's an elderly guy, and he was talking about one of his nephews interviewing guys up in Knoxville, and the 4 or 5 guys that he interviewed came in. There was only one guy that looked him in the eye, and the rest of them had flip-flops and cargo pants on. And he took one of them out because he didn't know how to shake somebody's hand, and he spent 15 minutes on teaching the young man how to shake somebody's hand and look them in the eye. Crazy to me, but they're not getting any skills. So you're absolutely right, George. I've said it long time, over and over again. They need life skills in these situations.
Well, another young player, but
I'd like to teach that class.
Me too. I'd be your secretary if you want me to.
I wouldn't need a towel for that.
No.
You wouldn't be cynical, would you?
Might be.
Well, the Titans kicked off training camp today. They will give Cam Ward most of the work running with the first team in training camp, even as they hold off announcing him as the starter, which I don't get that. But that'll give him and the Titans more time to speed up his development. But I caught this today from Brian Callahan. The Titans are doing they're putting out a series of videos before the season starts. It's pretty interesting stuff when Coach Callahan met with the team in a recent meeting.
The energy that I felt when you guys came back in the building. I feel your confidence. I feel your excitement, right? Our execution, our effort, and our elimination of sins, right? That's the Titans trio. You want to see execution, you want to see unbelievable effort, and you want to see a team that plays a clean brand of football. Those are the things that we're focused on. What I get motivated by is the way that you guys came into work today. That's what motivates me. That's what gets me excited because I know what we have in this room because I believe in what you guys are capable of. And when you come in the building and you wake up in the morning, that's what should get you going, is that you know you got a group of guys in here that have put a ton of time and effort into it, and that we're going to be a team that plays hard and makes life hell for any team we play, because we are capable of being a damn good football team. How many days until we play our first game? Anybody know? 47 days. So we should feel the urgency every time we walk in. It should be urgent as shit. We have to make each other better every day we step out.
I like it.
Okay.
That's no news.
Hold on.
That doesn't fire y'all up?
Hold on. What's the problem, Kelly?
It fires you up when you're a young guy, but when you're 10 or 11 years, like, hey, just give me the game plan. Tell me what we're doing, and let's go. I don't need motivated, big dog.
So you're saying...
Do you think most of your veteran teammates would have felt the same way?
100%.
Okay.
That's just here's the deal. Here's the deal now. I mean, young guys need that stuff, and you have to have that stuff. And I'm good with it. I liked it. I'm cool with it. You've got to bring a sense of energy to the room. But here's the deal. It's settled on the field. We can talk all we want to, but it's settled on the field. Now that's that's a step in the right direction. There's no question about that. You've got to bring something spicy. You got to bring energy. You got to bring something to the table. But when you're 8, 9, 10, 11 years, you're like, oh gosh, here we go again. Let's just go play football. Let's go practice. Let's get in the room. Let's study. Let's get in our position meetings. Let's learn the offense. Let's get gelled together. Then let's go play some football.
Last piece here. The Giants don't have any quarterback controversy this summer. Brian Daboll said Russell Wilson is the clear-cut starter, despite having Jameis Winston on the roster, Jackson Dart, and Tommy DeVito. I wonder how long that holds throughout the season.
That's not exactly Bart Starr and Aaron Rodgers.
You can do a lot worse than Jameis Winston and Jackson Dart, though.
Jameis Winston is a turnover machine. Turnover machine. Now, Jackson Dart is a young guy, but now you've got Russell Wilson, who's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, probably should have won the other one. I mean, is that a shock? Is that a shocker to you guys that he's going to start? Here's the deal. Now, if he bombs, then then Jackson Dart's coming. We get that. That's going to happen. But you've got to start Russell Wilson. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Otherwise, there was no point in signing him.
Yeah.
Correct.
I do think about 5 games in, that'll kind of.
Think it'll blow up?
I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl either.
No, not anytime soon anyway.
Okay, we done?
Yep.
One last thing on the passing of Aaron Donnick. There will be a celebration of life. Some of you may have seen the story, a beautiful story that Brad Schmidt wrote in the Tennessean this morning with some awesome pictures of Aaron and Willie. August the 23rd. I don't know a lot more than that. As soon as I get more details, I will pass them on. All of you keep that family in your prayers. They need it. Mike Organ from the Tennessean after the break on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Companies, we help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Can't watch the race? We got you.
I can't believe it.
NASCAR lives on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Whether it's 102.5 The Game, 94.9 The Fan, or Sports Talk 830, you can hear it all. Just check theGameNashville.com for the full schedule. NASCAR lives here. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Hey, time to meet up with the hardest working man in Nashville sports. That would be Mike Organ from the Tennessean. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good, guys. Working hard. Started the week with some pretty good news from Tennessee State, big news from Tennessee State, and then slid over and covered a little Titans action today.
Hey, I want you to do something on a personal note. Please pass on congratulations to Brad Schmidt. What a beautiful story he did on Aaron Donnick. It was terrific.
It was. Brad and I discussed that yesterday and how we'd handle that. And Brad, while I knew Aaron and had interaction with her and just thought she was a wonderful person, Brad had more personal, time with her, a professional time, but one-on-one. And he knew Aaron a little bit better than I did. And, man, he did a wonderful job with that. So, yes, I will do that.
Absolutely. He sure did. So you alluded to some news from Tennessee State in the last week. Let's kind of talk. Let's start with the football thing. It looks like Mickey Allen is trying to ramp up their football schedule with some real heavyweights. Is that essentially a new coach wanting that? Is it Mickey wanting that? What's the strategy behind that?
It's both. It's obviously in this age of NIL, it trickles down to FCS programs. They got to make as much money as they can to sustain, to bring in talent, to handle expenses as they have always done. And each of those games, you're talking about Tennessee State's going to play Tennessee, Georgia, and Vanderbilt over the next 4 years, and in TSU. The three Power Four schools, Tennessee, Georgia, and Vanderbilt, will all bring about $600,000 to TSU, and that will go a long way in their budget and in their NIL coffers. So from a Mickey Allen standpoint, that was why they did it. From a new coach, Reggie Barlow, who replaced Eddie George in March, I talked to him about it, and he said, I like it. And he said, I like it because it gives our players and our coaches an opportunity to be in those big stadiums, to get that kind of exposure. And he said, it can pay off. He said, when he was at Alabama State, he had an offensive tackle who was being looked at by the pros, but he wasn't, he was looked at as a mid-round guy, a fourth or fifth round guy. Well, they played Auburn that year, and he showed out. He had an outstanding game and ended up being a first-round pick. And he said, I'm 100% sure he would not have gotten that had we not played Auburn that year. So think about that, George. I mean, think of the money he made from going from and I wish I could remember the kid's name. But anyway, from going from a fourth round to a first-round pick is big. And like I said, Reggie said it was all simply because they played Auburn, and he got that exposure, and the scouts saw him in that one game. Not only did they see him, but they saw him play so well in that one game.
So let me bring Kelly into this, because Kelly, to me, there's two sides to it. Number one, the positives are you get a bunch of money and you get your kids to play in some great environments. The flip side is you don't want to get your team beat up.
Right.
Where games that you should win later in the year, you physically don't have a chance at anymore.
Yeah, that's a tough gig because when I was at middle, we played Florida State. They were the number one team in the country that year. And then the next year we played Nebraska at Nebraska and Lincoln. They were the number one team in the country that year. So it is kind of tough. You want to kind of make a name for yourself. I had a really good game against Florida State my freshman year, and then my sophomore year I went in, and that was the only game ever in my career that I was sore before the game was over. I got hit so much by those guys, but it is tough because as a coach, you have to, and as a school, when you're not one of the power schools, you got to get money some way. You got to be able to pay people some way, and you got to be able to pay for travel and things like that. And you just don't want to get everybody hurt for, it was me, the OVC or Conference USA or the Sun Belt. You want to play those big games because that's nice, but it's a balancing issue with the coach because he cannot afford to get key players hurt because he's got something to look forward to for that season in conference.
Yeah. So, Mike, let's go to the basketball part. They've hired Nolan Smith, who was on Penny Hardaway's staff at the University of Memphis. It's a weird time when Brian Collins announced that he was going to the Grizzlies. It's a weird time. A lot of coaches ultimately aren't willing to put their name in at that time of year. What kind of response did TSU have, and did it come down to Nolan Smith and anybody else that you're aware of?
No, I honestly, every athletic director always says this. Except, I do remember, George, and you'll remember this, when Bobby Johnson was hired at Vanderbilt, it was obvious Bobby Johnson was not the first candidate. We went through a slew of candidates back then, and Bobby said he might not have been the first, but he was the best. So athletic directors usually always try to sell you on the fact that this is the first guy that they called. And I tend to believe Mickey Allen on that. He said that Monday about Nolan Smith, because Nolan Smith is such a really good hire for Tennessee State at this time and point in their athletics and their school, where they're dealing with such great financial issues, in the last 6 months. Now, Mickey Allen has hired a good football coach and a good basketball coach with a school that we wondered if it was going to be able to keep its doors open back in the spring because of its financial difficulties and situation. So to come away with a Reggie Barlow for football and a Nolan Smith, who, is an All-American basketball player at Duke, won a national championship at Duke, is from the Krzyzewski lineage, was an assistant last year at Memphis and the year before at Louisville, which are two pretty good programs. And, to have those kind of credentials, I think Mickey did a good job. And George, do you still call the game for Memphis? Did you see Nolan on the sidelines last year?
I did not. I was their announcer before the Peloponnesian War.
They actually did have a different name too, didn't they?
Well, let me say this: they had a different name and they had a different gym. I'm two gymnasiums removed.
I was going to say they've got a new one since the new one.
Absolutely. FedEx Forum, obviously, I wasn't a part of. The Pyramid was the year after I left. They were so inspired by my leaving that they built the Pyramid in 2 months. And I was Mid-South Coliseum, which is municipal auditorium plus 3,000 seats.
And now the Pyramid has a Bass Pro Shop in it, by the way.
I'm sure they're doing very well. So, okay, let me ask this, because I'm sure you brought this up with Nolan Smith. To me, TSU is a sleeping giant in hoops. You've got by far the best city in the OVC. The OVC is a watered-down version without nearly the level of competition that used to be there. To me, this is a deal where TSU ought to kick butt in that league.
Absolutely. And Mickey Allen did not hesitate to say that after the news conference. Monday, I was talking to him one-on-one, and he said, look at it. He said, Belmont's gone, Murray State's gone. Those two programs were going to win the OVC for, infinity as long as they stayed in the conference. And I think both might be reconsidering their move to leave the conference and now how difficult it is to get into the NCAA tournament. But that aside, those two programs are gone, and it is absolutely wide open. I mean, anybody can win that conference any year. Tennessee Tech, UT Martin, anybody can jump up and win. And Tennessee State, like you mentioned, with Nashville on its side, with the recruiting base, that Tennessee State should be primed to step up and be in the upper echelon. And Penny had them in the upper echelon the last 3 years, and they were in the semifinal of the OVC tournament this year. They need to take that next step and be in the championship every year, playing for contention to get back into the NCAA tournament, where they haven't been, George, since 1994.
You look at TSU's record in conference this year. They finished 12-8, and you probably go, oh, they're probably middle of the pack, maybe even toward the bottom. They finished third. So that, like you said, Mike, that tells you how open that is.
There's so much parity, Billy. There's, those teams just beat up on themselves because none of them are very good, none of them are very bad. They're all right there in the middle. They're waiting for somebody to step up and grab that ring and become the powerhouse. And I'm not sure any team can do that. I'm not sure they all can do that, but I'm sure Tennessee State can do that. And the Tennessee State needs to go ahead and do that. And maybe this hiring was the step that needed to be taken to get to that next level, where you're not just amongst a crowd, like you said, Billy, just, beating each team at home or whatever, splitting with each team. This is a team that can make some noise. And with Nolan Smith coming in with an NIL plan, like he said he had, expected to hit the portal pretty hard. And let me give Penny credit for leading him a really good team. He's leading him 3 really solid starters. The first thing Nolan said Monday was he wants to win now, not win, 3 years from now when he gets his system in or when he brings in his players. He said he wants to win now. The president echoed that, and Mickey Allen echoed that, and I think they've got the roster to do that this season, this coming season.
I'm with you on that. I think I'm right. TSU's last appearance in an NCAA tournament, Frankie Allen was the coach, and Carlos Rogers, the big 6'11" center, was the bell cow. Early 90s.
Spring football game. What was it? It was something. It was not a basketball game, but it was something this past season outside. And he's still tall, George. He's still a very tall guy.
Yeah, he didn't shrink over the years. Kelly, what do you got for Mike?
So, Mike, let's keep going with that. 4 months, 5 months ago, we were talking about this and all the struggles that they were having. How have they been able to do this? It seems like they've hit home runs with these coaches, and they've gotten some buzz about TSU when everybody thought they were on the doormat.
They've gotten some financial stability throughout the school. I talked to President Tucker, the interim president, who has expressed to the board he'd like to stick around 3 years to see this all the way through. And he's a really sharp guy. Kelly, he's as good in the leadership role as I've ever seen at Tennessee State in the short time he's been there, and I've been around 40 years. He has a plan. He has brought the enrollment back down. I think he told me he expects enrollment to be about 5,100 next month, which is a whole lot more suitable for that school than the 9,000 that it got up to after COVID. And so I think the financial turnaround or beginning of a turnaround that they've made has helped as a school to win over some candidates that may not have been interested before that. Now, Reggie Barlow was unique in that he was a winning college football coach, but did not have a college football position at the time when Mickey Allen approached him after Eddie George resigned in March. He was about to go into the UFL season, which is in the spring, and he, like most coaches probably, was looking forward to getting back into the traditional fall as a football coach. So that was attracted to him at a place like TSU. So that's how they were able to get Reggie. It was a chance for Reggie to get back to playing in the fall. And then I think that with Nolan, it was a chance what was his first head coaching opportunity for a school that has seemed to start to make the turnaround financially.
So let's kind of change. The situation here. What did you think of the SEC Media Days? Did you get anything out of that? Does anybody get anything out of it? And what did you take from it? I mean, I don't even know if you paid attention to it. I'm sure with your occupation, you probably had to listen to it a little bit. But did you take anything from that?
About the only thing I took was Pavia. I like when Vanderbilt is able to make a splash because it happens so rarely. Usually we go into those things expecting the same old. When I covered Vanderbilt for 10 years, we went in every year expecting Steve Spurrier to say something crazy, and then for the coaches after him to respond to him by either saying they don't pay attention to him or by saying, taking the bait like Phil Fulmer would have or somebody else. So it was good to see Vanderbilt get some attention thrown its way. I thought that Clark was good talking about Vanderbilt, talking about, taking the next step, which they need to do. The bottom line is they had a great season last year, but the bottom line was they were 7-6. They had an opportunity, Clark said, to have 9 wins with a bounce here or there. And I like that he was bold enough to say that, that they could have been better than they even were last year. But beyond that, I didn't hear anybody say anything that made me raise my eyebrows, Kelly, to what's going on. What are we going to do about the transfer portal? How are we going to handle the settlement? How are we going to handle NIL going forward? What are the collectives going to do? And so I didn't think they got into that enough for for my satisfaction.
Do you think Vanderbilt will take a step forward with all they've done with some of the transfers they've got in? What do you think about them this season there, Mike?
Well, it's a tough schedule, and there are some tough games on the road. And now I will say this, Vanderbilt played as well on the road last year as I've ever seen them play. I was very impressed with some of their road games last year. And I think that's because of the confidence that Pavia brings not only to the offense, but to the entire team. And if he was able to do that in one season, throughout one season, I believe he'll be able to do it again this season. Now, when it gets to X's and O's, and nobody knows this more than you, Kelly, everybody's seen Pavia now, especially in the SEC. They've seen the offense that they've catered to Pavia, so they're ready for Pavia and that offense. Now it's going to be up to Clark and his staff and Pavia to make another to catch them off guard and do some things that they didn't show last year. Is there enough, in the playbook to bring up some things that will catch opponents off guard again this year? I don't know. They certainly did it last year. That won't be the case this year. So they will depend even more on Pavia with his ad-libbing and just his diverse skills to either stay where they are or take a step forward. But again, I go back to the schedule. It's a tough one, Kelly. And, I think Vanderbilt was picked just from three teams from the bottom. So I'm not the only one that has concerns.
Yeah, and my last thing here is the other day in SEC Media Days, the commissioner and the commissioner of the Big Ten. I mean, they both. I said it last week. I just can't believe over the last 3 years how much power that the Big Ten and the SEC has maintained over this stuff and has gotten just further out away from everybody. Is that a good thing, Mike? Because it seems like the Big 12 and the ACC, which is throwing a lot of shade, the Big Ten is throwing a lot of shade towards the SEC, and there's a little bit of, as Tony Basilio, people are tired of the SEC, but like with all the power that they've wielded, I mean, is that a good thing for college sports right now?
I wouldn't call it a good thing. It depends on who you are. Obviously, if you're in the Big Ten or the SEC, it's a very good thing. But I'll say this, we're on a trajectory that can't be stopped at this point, Kelly. That's what we're headed to. Exactly what you laid out is what's going to continue and just gain speed, because these two conferences are just going to continue to steamroll over everything and everybody else and be rewarded with TV contracts and other incentives like that will make them more and more powerful as they head toward breaking away from the NCAA. And this kind of goes back to what we started out talking about with teams like Tennessee State, MTSU, not MTSU now since they're now FBS, but teams like Tennessee State, Chattanooga, Martin, playing SEC teams like Tennessee, Georgia, and Vanderbilt, like TSU is going to do. This will possibly be the last time you see this, Kelly, because I think after that last game in 2029, we'll be at a point where the SEC teams are not going to play, I hate to say it, but cream puffs, games like this, money games, because the system will be set up like the NFL at that point, where every TV game will mean so much, and you'll get paid so much for every TV game that you've got to bring it every week with a great game. The networks are not going to pay for you to go out on the field and play your starting quarterback for 2 series and then have the game won at some point in the second quarter. So I'm afraid by 2030, these type of games may not be offered to programs on the FCS level and the lower FBS level, and I don't know where they're going to get their paychecks at that point.
Well, Mike, on that topic, Indiana dropped a game with Virginia and picked up Kennesaw State and Austin Peay, and I think another cupcake. And coaches this week have been ripping the SEC. We got players ripping the SEC. But yesterday, Rhett Lashley called the SEC top heavy. He said since 1964, only 6 different SEC teams have won national titles, which is a fair point. But to say it's top heavy, I disagree with that. What do you think?
Oh, I don't. I think it's less top heavy now than it has ever been. For years and years, Billy, we called it the haves and the have-nots. You know, the haves were the Floridas, Georgias, LSU, Tennessee, and that was in Alabama, obviously, and Auburn. And then the rest of the league was have-nots. The rest of the league had no chance of competing with those teams. It was split right down the middle. And so it's been that way for a long time. And now I think you see teams like an Ole Miss or a Missouri that's going to be pretty good this year, I think. Kentucky that has gotten good at points, not good right now. South Carolina, which has been good at points, maybe and could be this year. I think that you see the have-nots, as we used to call them, stepping up and contending. Now, they haven't won either division, and they certainly haven't won a national championship, but they are not in the hopeless situations that they used to be in. And you got to mention Vanderbilt, even in that group of have-nots, who stepped up last year and beat an Alabama and a Kentucky and gave Missouri a great game. So it's not like it used to be, and I would disagree with that assessment.
Mike, appreciate it as always. Good stuff. We'll do it again next Wednesday.
Okay, go Memphis Tigers, George.
Absolutely. Memphis State all the way. After the break, we'll talk about why is everybody dissing the Southeastern Conference, because it is open season right now. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
I trained my entire life to be the best. I was one of the fastest women in the entire country. But woke politics made me swim against a man, sharing the pool and the locker room. That's not just dangerous, it's degrading. Thank God for Marsha Blackburn. No one fights harder to protect us. Marsha Blackburn will always stand for strong women because she's one of us.
I'm Marsha Blackburn, and I approve this message.
Okay, so y'all have noticed it's been open season on the SEC within the other conferences as they have, their week with the media. And look, what players say you kind of have to take with a grain of salt because they're 18 to 21 years old And when I think back to some of the stupid things that I did from age 18 to 21, okay, I get it. But what exactly was Rhett Lashley's point? He's the head coach at SMU, which, by the way, is the cheatingest program in NCAA football history. They are the only program that has ever gotten the death penalty. And from those who know, it'll never be thrown out there again because the penalty was way more severe than anybody knew. Why is he doing that?
George, first, I don't even remember what was the penalty. Like, how many scholarship? Like, did they kill the whole program? I forget.
They canceled the 88 season, and I want to say the 89 season.
Yeah, their football
Did they take scholarships?
88.
Okay, yeah. Did they take scholarships from them? What did they do?
Well,
I can't remember.
Okay, when you close up shop for 2 years, everybody bolts.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So when they came back, it looked like one of my fifth grade Gray Y teams. There's a great 30 for 30, and I think it's called something like Pony Express,
yeah. Pony Express.
So when they come back, it's just a team of little midgets. I mean, they don't look anything like a football team. And they show some film footage of a game with Notre Dame, and it was really bad.
James. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, George.
It was a penalty that went on and on and on. It took forever to get over.
But they had Craig James and Eric Dickerson too in that time span, which was two pretty really good football players. One's in the Hall of Fame, so. I don't know why Rhett Lashley's acting like that. I mean, he's been in the the SEC. He was a offensive coordinator at Auburn. Maybe he wants back in the SEC. I don't know, but I mean, some of those things are kind of factual to me because the SEC didn't live up to. I just thought they were subpar last year. And I was thinking about this when I knew you were going to ask the question, but. When all these SEC teams have been really good, they've had really good QBs at their positions. And then you look at the last 2 years, J.J. McCarthy. He was at Michigan. He won the national championship. You look at Ohio State. Will Howard was he was a game manager. Let's talk about. They're all game managers, but he didn't turn the ball over. He played within the system. He was a good quarterback and he made throws and he had people around him. So, you look at the Alabamas when Jalen Hurts was there, when Tua was there, when all these teams, when Stetson Bennett played really well for Georgia, all these SEC teams, and last year they were void. Like Jalen Milroe wasn't going to get it done. I look at that and I'm thinking to myself when you were asking the question, like it was quarterback play. I mean, there's other things involved in it, but like all these teams from the SEC, like had really good quarterbacks when they won national championships. They had Tim Tebow, who was the guy who fit that offense perfectly. What Urban Meyer wanted to do, he wanted a tough guy that ran the ball, that ran option stuff, and he just had to throw a little bit. So I think you look at that. I think the SEC was kind of subpar last year, and I think it was subpar because of quarterback play.
Yeah, it was subpar last year, but what Lashley said, he went all the way back to 1964. I don't know how many more SEC teams he wants to win national titles. Alabama won 15 of those 30 national titles since 1964. Georgia has 4. Auburn has 3. Florida has 3. LSU has 3, and Tennessee has 2. I mean, does he want the rest of the league to go win a national? I don't know. I don't understand what he was saying.
Well, let me say this. I mean, I'm not, going to go out and cry a river of tears over the fact the SEC's, getting ripped on a little bit. I do wonder how much of this is a commissioner that the rest of the country perceives as a bully.
Yeah. That's probably a lot of it. But the thing is, the SEC, at their media days, we talked about how boring it was and how there really wasn't a ton of, you don't see the SEC taking shots across the bow. So I think we know how these other coaches and the conferences feel about the SEC. And I mean, I don't think it'll ever change either.
I don't know. I think it's gotten ramped up I don't remember all this when Slive was the commissioner.
It's a lot of Sankey.
Now the whole everything's changed. I just wonder, Kelly.
Well, I'm with you. He talks about people being top. Well, every conference is kind of top heavy. I mean,
Exactly.
you look at Big Ten. The Big Ten only has. They really and Indiana came along. Indiana, that was once in 6-7 decades. But you have Penn State, you have Ohio State, you have Michigan. Sometimes Michigan State comes along, sometimes, but that's top heavy. Like Northwestern, Purdue. I don't know what he's talking about. And then you got the Big 12. The ACC is Clemson, Florida State. Duke came along, but Duke has never been good in football. It's just I don't understand what he's talking about. Every conference has got that. And when you're talking about the SEC, you're talking about those big schools. Well, it means something to those big schools, and they pay for it. They've got money for it. The Mississippi States, now the Ole Miss has gotten in there, and they've gotten better with monetarily, obviously. But Kentucky's better. I don't know. I don't know what he's barking up, but I think it's the wrong tree because I think all conferences are top heavy.
Yeah, Lashley's also in the ACC. I don't know why he's talking because Clemson, Georgia Tech, and Florida State are the only schools that have won national titles since '64. So, I just don't get that.
Interesting. Okay. When you look back, Tim Brando, who's going to join us at 4:00, cut his teeth deep in Southeastern Conference territory, growing up down in the LSU area, Louisiana. Now, years later, with kind of a career change and moving to Fox, he does a lot of Big Ten. He does some stuff way out west. It'll be interesting to get some of his perspectives. He'll join us after Stat of the Day on 94.9 The Fan.
Looking for your favorite sports?
What sports? You follow sports?
We probably have it. Just log on to the Information Superhighway. Oh, they don't call it that anymore?
To start, press any key. Where's the any key?
Head to theGameNashville.com.
The password we're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here.
What an age we live in.
On the Game Nashville Sports Network. This fall, country music superstar Tim McGraw is hitting the stage live at the Pinnacle at Nashville Yards for Dream Ticks, Rock the Cradle, and it's all for a great cause. It's going to be an unforgettable night of music, fun, and giving back with proceeds supporting newborns and moms at Ascension St. Thomas Midtown.
And I like it, I love it, I want some more of it.
Don't miss it. Grab your tickets now at rockthecradlenashville.org. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
I like it, I love it, I want some more of it.
This summer, the Legends of the West invite you to the Buffalo Bills Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 museums come alive with timeless Western art, heroic tales, and native cultures. Experience live birds of prey, crackling chuck wagon dinners, and behind-the-scenes adventures. Just 50 miles from Yellowstone's East Gate, our doors open wide to explorers young and old. One ticket grants you 2 days, enough time to let curiosity lead the way. Visit centerofthewest.org.
It only happens once a year, and it's happening now. The Electronic Express Annual Clearance Sale. Save up to 80% on overstocks, demos, closeouts, scratch and dents, and one-of-a-kinds, some brand new in the box. Don't miss these savings at Electronic Express on HD TVs, home theater systems, appliances, computers, and more. But hurry, quantities are limited, and deals this big won't last. Shop the clearance sale at any Electronic Express location today.
Hey guys, it's Mike from Newton Nissan South. All right, I'm staging an official summer intervention right now. Are you seriously looking at your weekend plans and thinking, I should really organize a spice rack? No, absolutely not. It's July in Tennessee. There's a kayak with your name on it. Ice cream is a date night. Sit outside and watch fireflies. Don't let an unreliable ride be the reason you alphabetize your paprika. You need a fun-ready vehicle. We can help with that. Come see us, perhaps before the ice cream, and let's rescue your summer. Visit NewtonNissanSouth.com. Start shopping our inventory online. Make sure you click the Fast Pass button to save hours of time, too.
Best Friends Animal Society is working to ensure that every dog and cat in the country has a safe place to call home. Oh. Just like Superman, you can use your power for good. Join us. Visit bestfriends.org to adopt an out-of-this-world pet near you. Together, we will save them all.
Tennessee has lots of buried pipelines, so it's important to know the signs of a leak, like if you smell unusual odors or hear hissing, see bubbling earth or water, or dead or dying vegetation. Some signs are even harder to miss, like dirt being blown into the air, a frost ball in an open field, or a flame coming from the ground. If you see any of these signs, don't wait. Leave the area immediately and call 911 or your pipeline company. For more tips on pipeline safety, visit pipesafety.org. A message from the Tennessee Gas Association, Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Tim Brando, longtime broadcaster now with Fox Sports, joining us coming up. But first, stat of the day brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website. That's applecollisioncenters.com. All right, more baseball today. At 45 years old, Rich Hill pitched for the Royals, becoming the oldest pitcher to appear in a major league game since 2012. Who was that pitcher?
Okay, so here's what I don't know. Jamie Moyer pitched until he was 49. And I don't know if that's 2012 or not, but Jamie Moyer, broke all kinds of longevity laws. If it's not Jamie Moyer, then who is it? Oh, man.
I couldn't tell you, George.
I don't think it's Dennis Martinez. There's somebody that's obvious, and I'm missing it, and shame on me. 2012. It's not Jamie Moyer. He retired before then. Give me the answer.
It is Jamie Moyer.
It is Jamie Moyer.
Ooh.
Come on, George.
49.
Have some confidence in yourself, man. Let's go.
One out of you-know-what there, huh?
Nice.
Jamie Moyer came up as a Cub. Jamie Moyer is Digger Phelps' son-in-law.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How about that?
This reminds me.
Whatever happened to Digger Phelps?
He got old.
Like all of us.
I liked him though. He didn't have a filter.
No, he was fun.
He was on game day.
Yes, he was.
He was. Yeah.
This Jamie Moyer, with how old he is, reminds me. What's the movie called with Dennis Quaid, where he's a biologist?
Is it the Rookie?
The Rookie.
Yeah. So Jamie Moyer, when he came up as a Cub, threw pretty hard. By the time he got to age 49, it was a lot of slop, but really pretty doggone effective. Check him out.
That's wild.
I'm fired up. I got one. Okay. Really looking forward to this because I've known Tim Brando for almost 40 years. And as a young broadcaster back in the 80s and the early 90s, one thing you learned at the SEC tournament, it was a hell of a lot more fun if this guy was on campus because he would hold court and it was never dull. Tim, how in the world are you?
I'm great, George, and I'm really happy that you got Jamie Moyer today. May I tell you an interesting Jamie Moyer story?
Lay it on me.
I'm coming back from a golf tournament, and I'm flying into to do a Digger Phelps basketball game in 1985. And it's an early season game against Holy Cross, and it was the second game that I had ever done in my history at ESPN. And the first game was in Charlottesville. It was Duke and Virginia. So I remember this very, very well because it was the off season, and Jamie was flying from Chicago into South Bend with me. He was on my flight, and he recognized me after just one game because he had had some friends in Louisiana that he knew very, very well and knew of my background. Not many people knew me in January of 1985, to say the least. All right, so I'm just kind of bursting onto the scene, so to speak. A lot of people in Baton Rouge knew me, a lot of people in Louisiana, but not many people outside of there. Anyway, I knew him. He didn't know me. He comes up to me and he says, "Hey, you're a sportscaster." He said, "Yeah." He knew who I was. I said, "I'm working at ESPN now. I'm flying in to do Notre Dame." And he said, "Well, that's my father-in-law." And he says, "Listen, I got a favor to ask." He says, "I know you keep up with things with every sport, so I was hearing some rumblings that I might have been traded." And I said, "Yeah, you were." I knew about this. I knew he'd been traded to the Texas Rangers. He and Rafael Palmeiro were being traded away from the Cubs, and Jamie knew that his wife Karen, that's Digger's daughter, he knew she was going to be pissed because she produced the Digger Phelps show, his basketball coaches show, and they just loved that he was playing in Chicago, and it was going to completely uproot their family. He was going to have to give them all this bad news. So I told him, and then he says, "Oh, this is going to be rough." So when I got to practice, this was a morning flight. So when I got to practice later that afternoon, here's some old names for you. Matt Kilcullen was on that staff. The great coach who later at Xavier, had a very successful run at Providence, got them to within a whisker of the Final Four, barely lost. They beat Duke as a number 2 seed in '97. Pete Gillen was also on that staff, and a young guy that just left Iowa and is on his way back to his native Rhode Island, his native Pennsylvania, to coach at UPenn. Fran McCaffrey was also on that staff. That's
Wow.
3 pretty good assistants to have at that time in 1985. Anyway, so I get to practice, and Digger comes walking up, and I'm just like, I said, "I need to introduce myself to you. I'm Tim Brando. I'm going to be doing the game with Holy Cross." This was the next day. I said, "I'm going to be doing the game tomorrow." And he says, "Oh, I've already heard about you. I said, "Really?" He says, Yeah. You're the guy that told my son-in-law that he's taking my daughter the hell out of South Bend and to Texas, for crying out loud." He was pissed. He was upset. I said, "Man, I didn't mean to be the Grim Reaper on this trip." Anyway, they became good friends, and I believe they separated, by the way. I think Karen and Jamie separated, but I think they have a great relationship. He pitched for a long, long time. He had a great career. You're right. He was sort of for people that don't know much about Jamie as a pitcher, he was a little bit like if Tom Glavine had been a much traveled pitcher, as opposed to with one team, one organization for such a long time. He might have been Jamie Moyer. And if Jamie had been a Brave, who knows, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Greg Maddux was pitching with the Cubbies until I think '92. I had him on a 4th of July in '91, an 11-inning game. One of the great memories I also have was doing with Ray Knight, doing a July 4th game between the really good Pittsburgh Pirates of Jimmy Leland with Bonds, Bonilla, Van Slyke, all those guys. And Mark Grace won it with a walk-off home run in the 11th. And Greg Maddux was pitching that day for the Cubs against John Smiley of the Pirates. So it's funny the things you remember. You're having this random conversation about somebody, and it launched me into this diatribe about Jamie Moyer and Digger and his wife Karen. So wow.
Okay, let me take you in a different direction from your LSU background.
Yep.
Dale Brown, a lot of people thought back then, this guy is crazy. I say crazy like a fox.
He's ahead of his time.
Absolutely. Talk to me about kind of his brilliance.
Well, he alienated a lot of people, particularly, and not just other coaches around the SEC, but he alienated at some point, I think, every one of them. with a possible exception of CM Newton, who never got alienated. CM was never going to dislike anybody. But even though I think he did kind of piss CM off in '79 when he let the banner fall before the end of the game against Alabama. But he got over it quickly. He got over it quickly, though. But Dale was talking about the rampant NCAA authoritarian Gestapo approach that they had to all investigations and what was wrong with them. And they've literally, he put together a list of about 43 rules changes that absolutely for human rights alone that should be changed. And you know what? About 35, 36 of those 42 or 43 have now since been changed. But he also scared the hell out of all the administrators that he worked for at LSU because they feared that the NCAA was going to come down on them with a special hammer. And you know what? They really wanted to. David Burst, I mean, if Jerry Tarkanian was the number one wanted coach by the NCAA, Dale Brown was number two, and not by a large margin. Okay, they really wanted to get, and they, everybody thought Dale was a fraud, that he was, nobody could really be like this, that it was an act. No, that's just who he was. If Dale saw an injustice, he went berserk. He went absolutely berserk. And everything from all the stories that were out there regarding the recruitment of so many players, like John Williams, later John Hotplate Williams out of Crenshaw High School in L.A., and the Tito Horford thing. He absolutely was trying to get clearance from the Kremlin to go in and get Sabonis. Okay, NBC Sports World was ready to follow him there to document his trip. Okay, to get Arvydas Sabonis. I was there for all that in my younger days, and Dale is 90 years old now, still as lucid as ever.
Yeah.
And whenever you have these conversations now, particularly because he always felt players deserved to get money, he really did. He thought that everybody's getting rich. I'm getting rich. The school's getting rich. They're building these cathedrals because they've got all this money that the boosters are giving. And, one organization like Clemson football's got a Chuck E. Cheese inside. Nick Saban's got Niagara Falls outside the front door of his office in Tuscaloosa. Why the hell can't a player get a plane ticket home to see his parents, for Christ's sakes? Those kinds of things. And he was dead on about it. Absolutely spot on. And he is still lucid enough to understand how ahead of his time he really was.
No.
I talked to him at least once a month. At least once a month, sometimes 2 or 3 times in a week. And by the way, if you get Dale, get ready for a long conversation. It's going to last.
I love it.
Okay. He's one of the very few guys that if I'm at dinner, I'm going to actually be doing more listening than talking. He's one of the very few guys where I can say that.
And I know you well enough. That doesn't happen very often. Now, look, you got to show me what all's back there behind you. What a rec room kind of deal.
Yeah. Phil Garner gave me that scrap iron.
Scrap iron.
I had double knit suits in double knit baseball suit in 1972 that looked just like the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I got to tell him about that when I was doing baseball. He gave me that hat. This was while he was managing the Astros. He did that. Got some Emmys back there. Way up at the top there is my. Well, since you're in Tennessee, I'll show you. I'll get
you don't get this. You don't get this on just any show.
No.
This is one that I really covet. That's the Lindsey Nelson Award from 2014.
Big time.
Tennessee fans will get a kick out of that.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's one that's special. And I'm I'm kind of a sports hoarder. I hoard crap. Fill in the blank. So I'm big on mic flags because I work for so many different organizations through my career. So I'm big. I got a Fox one there. You can't see that one, so
that's okay.
See, I'll show you. This is there's a Danny Werfel trophy.
Nice.
Danny Werfel football for the Werfel trophy. I've done some work for them. There's the one from CBS.
Oh yes.
There's the current one. Hope those W-2s keep coming in.
Oh, I bet you do. So,
and I've got several others. ACC, Raycom Sports. They changed from Jefferson Pilot. Had a Jefferson Pilot one that turned into Lincoln Financial, which turned into
God only knows.
Whatever it was going to become next. But yeah, those are the things that I've got.
You never did one though for CSS, your source for cheap sports.
No, I just missed that. Missed, but you know what? I did one for Ms. Lou. I mean, that's going back. Ms. Lou, man.
Ms. Lou magic.
I did the only Independence Bowl I ever did was for Ms. Lou, and it was the John Gutekunst game when Lou Holtz had left for Notre Dame, and they played. Let's see, it was Minnesota against Clemson. It was the first bowl game for Clemson after they had been hit on probation after they won the national championship. So that was 85. That was during that same year when I began freelancing with ESPN. And you know what? You talked about how cheap they were. Here's something you'll really like. All right, I'm writing a book now. It's going to be out probably before the start of next season. And it's called On Brando. That's the part of the manuscript there.
Okay.
Because Brando was never off. He was always on. I never shut up. So that's appropriate title, don't you think?
I love it.
Yeah, but that whether it was Ms. Lou or it was Raycom or Jefferson, people talk about how, well, we don't know how much those guys were getting paid or if they even got paid. I got news for you. I did get paid on time. Okay. The check stub I made a copy of. All right, and this is the ESPN. You see the old logo.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay, turn it around. It's backwards.
Wow.
Oh, is it backwards?
I think it's backwards. Turn it around.
My bad.
Oh, my God. Look at that.
And you'll notice there are only 2 zeros behind that 3.
Zeros in those deals.
I got a whopping $300 to call the game between Duke and Virginia. And I'm living in Prairieville, Louisiana, and let me tell you, you could buy a lot of steak dinners at Bonanza in 1985 for $300. I'm telling you. So that was found cash back in the day. So
Tim, the guy in the middle is former NFL quarterback Kelly Holcomb.
Oh, hi, Kelly. Great to see you.
What's up, Tim? How you doing? Y'all just keep going, man. This is interesting as all get out to me. George, you just keep going, man. This is awesome.
Give him, because he'll appreciate this. Tim used to do a bunch of different people. One of his best was the late Beano Cook. So I'd like to hear a conversation, Kelly, between Beano and Lou Holtz. You started out, and then Tim will finish it with Beano.
So he's going to do Holtz?
Oh, absolutely. Listen closely.
I can do Holtz.
Okay, so Beano, how do you think we're gonna do this week? We're playing Ruptures. Ruptures is a really good team. They're on the East Coast. We got to travel. Where do you think we're gonna do, son?
Don't give me that. Your schedule, nothing but cream puffs, and you're gonna tout the fact that you play Navy. My God, you're 35-0 against Navy. Nobody cares. You play a military academy. Play somebody good. Well, play Air Force. They're good. Fish at the Barrel can win games. Navy can't win. What are you talking about, for crying out loud? And by the way, go ahead.
Son, have you seen my team play this year? We're not very physical. Have you watched us play on the field?
Notre Dame always has material. Rod Paulus is going to win 4 Heisman trophies. I don't want to hear that. But I play the Victory March. If you don't know the words to the Victory March and you don't wear the black shoes and white crews of Paterno, then you're not an American college football fan. All right, you hear what I'm saying? Here's the. Did you hear the one about Bowie Q?
I haven't heard it, son. Tell me.
So the Iran hostages come home. The hostages, they come home. Baseball, the only sport slower to change than college football. Baseball, Bowie Q gives them lifetime passes to all the Iran hostages. Haven't they suffered enough?
Awesome, George. That's good stuff.
Beautiful.
Haven't they suffered enough? Which, by the way, became the title of the Beano book. If you've never read it, you should. the gentleman that's helping me with my book, I'm touting it now. You gave me an
Why
opportunity.
not? What the heck?
The guy that helped him with that book, John Lucas, is helping me with mine. Beans was a piece of work, a national treasure. And listen, you'll get a kick out of this. You know your old win. All right?
When?
I've now been gone from ESPN long enough. That now they feel like, okay, Corso's about to have his final game day. They are putting together, as you might imagine, and they do great work. And by the way, most of the guys that are working for the film division at ESPN, a lot of them, like the really good producers and cameramen, were all hired from Raycom in Charlotte. Okay, they were all these guys work in the film division of ESPN now. They do the 30 for 30s, the SEC stories, and all that. And they're doing a documentary on Coach Corso that I assume will air the week of the start of the college football season on all their different platforms. And they're coming to see me about the early days of College Game Day, which, you know, you're old enough to know that I was the original host of what would become an iconic show. But very few people are. I mean, if people look up a Wikipedia and they go, "Game, really? I mean, huh?" I mean, it's been 40. We started that show in 1987, so it was 38 years ago and 37 years ago. The first 2 years of College Game Day, I was hosting with Bino and Corso, and Kerry Ross was our first blonde bombshell reporter. And no, we didn't take it on the road every week, but we did take it on the road for national championship games, which was an experience. Bino on the road was a piece of work. Bino's like, "Brando, we went to Burger King and the people knew me. Unbelievable." Yeah, Bino, the people at Burger King in Tempe, Arizona know who the hell you are. They've got cable here. They don't have it in Pittsburgh. They don't, back in those days, major cities did not have cable television yet. They had political battles over what company was going to get cable television. Even Nashville was a little later than, say.
No, we watched the Braves at Joe's Village Inn.
Yeah. I mean,
look at that. Okay, Kelly, look at that picture of a young Tim Brando.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had that
Oh,
George
my
Jetson.
God.
That's my hair. George Jetson's snap-on hair was really mine. How about that? That's good looking. Had the wave working back then.
Kelly, if he was at the SEC tournament, no matter where it was a hell of a lot more fun after the night game, because he would hold court back there and you would get all this stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was amazing.
Let's just say they had to keep the varsity inside the Marriott Marquis open a little bit longer. Those and I wasn't some alligator arms guy. I might even pick up the check. I might, which helped me win a lot of friends in the Southeastern Conference, as you might imagine. Kelly.
Well, if you're around George, he didn't pick up the check. I'm sure of that.
At that age, I had zero money, but I know.
Yeah.
Kelly, you've got questions for him.
Well, I don't know if I have any. I just enjoy y'all going through the history of stuff. I just wanted to know, like, I'm going to ask a crazy question here. Like, what did you think about the Pac?
Like something relevant to?
Well, not only. See, that's why I don't really want to get anything in relevance. So I'm sitting here listening to y'all, and I love it. But like, you've been in college sports a long time. Did you ever think what happened to the Pac-12 would happen?
No, and it only happened, Kelly, because of mismanagement, because it was poorly operated. I mean, they literally ran the league into a ditch, and post COVID, during COVID contributed to it, because those presidents were so far to the left. They were so wacky woke that they had no idea what was going on in other places. Like Brett Yormark, who's a really smart guy, is coming into the Big 12, and he's ready to go to work and get some of your teams. And oh, by the way, the Big 10 would love to expand its footprint and become even bigger than the SEC, which, by the way, they've got 18. The SEC's got 16. And the Big 10 now has done the unthinkable. They've won 2 straight national championships. And what's going to help make the Big 10 stay forever at the, gnawing at the SEC isn't just the original charter members of that league. It's because they got Oregon, Washington. Those are leagues that are going to help the competition level for such a long period of time. I know Washington didn't have a great year last year, but get ready. Fish is a hell of a coach. He did a great job at Arizona. I think they're going to be right back on the map and hang around for quite a while. But those guys at the Pac-12, it's not all on the commissioner, although Larry Scott started it. I mean, who the hell would want to put a conference office in San Francisco, for crying out loud? What the hell were you thinking? I mean, what? Nothing says college football like downtown San Francisco, okay? And oh, by the way, what's it going to cost to take care of the union people that work in television there? Oh, and he was so smart. He was like, no, I don't want to partner up with people like Fox or ESPN. I want to do this on my own and really lose my ass, which is exactly what happened.
Tim, do you think that's over? I mean, it seems like the ACC is going in the same step as the Pac-12. Now, I don't know that, but do you see the same thing happening?
No, I don't. I think the ACC is going to. I think the ACC is going to be fine, and one of the reasons they're going to be fine is because they at least went into business with a corporation that does what? Controls the majority of college football. Say what you want. Listen, I've not worked at ESPN a long. They don't need me to carry water for them or defend them at all. And a lot of times, trust me, the ESPN I worked for all those years ago between 1985 and 94, not at all the same ESPN. I mean, not even close to the same ESPN. But I've got a lot of friends there, and my career would not have gone to the, to the links that it did. I wouldn't have lasted this long, in my opinion, if I hadn't spent the bulk of my early days in network television there. So they still do a lot of good things, a lot of great things. And college football is one of them. I mean, college football and college basketball, that gave the early days of ESPN credibility, when Getty Oil owned it and when Cap Cities bought it. Without college football and basketball, that they would have had nothing. It would have been, hey, Tim, go do PKA karate in Hull, Quebec, Canada, which I did. The kick of the 80s, which was canceled in the 90s. That's what I was doing in the off season. I mean, I did women's bodybuilding, where you're literally, I called women's bodybuilding. Can you imagine? That's a real tough sell to be able to say to the analyst, boy, just check out those pectorals on that young lady. I mean, I did things like that. Okay. So, that was a humble version of the worldwide leader. That's who I was working for then. Those days of game day for me, when I was working, we were like AAA. We didn't consider ourselves major league. The job was a better job than a local television job. But I'm not so sure that if somebody had said, hey, Tim, come back, we'd like to have you as the voice of LSU football, that I wouldn't have said, goodbye, Bristol. I'm going to go back to Baton Rouge and become the radio voice of LSU. Now, that didn't happen, so I never had to answer that question. But by the time I had left, you could tell that the 80s, that was the proliferation of cable. And along with CNN, it was ESPN that took hold. And to be on that ship, that rocket ship as it was taking off, was tremendous. And then, I went to Turner and got 3 years with the Braves, the Hawks, the NBA playoffs. And that was really, George probably would tell you this, that was probably my career hiccup period. You didn't know what was going to happen to me during those days nationally. And then CBS picked me up after that for 18 years. And believe it or not, George, I'm starting my 12th year this fall. On August the 23rd will be my start of my 12th season at Fox. I mean, how blessed am I? How blessed am I?
What's your first game?
We're doing the week 0 game, Devin Gardner and I. By the way, I love him. Was asked, I think this time last year by you, boy, you and Spencer after 25 years at TNT, which was tough. It was tough to get the news. But I got to tell you, George, I had a lot of fun with Devin. He's 2 years younger than my youngest daughter, and he's got tremendous passion. He has a lot of Spencer Tillman human qualities to him, and we're doing pregame dances. The Laffy Taffy. We do the Laffy Taffy. We do that. And then I teach him some Cool in the Gang stuff to go with it. But we're having a blast together. And old number 98 at Michigan, and this will be our second year together. We open with Kansas in their brand new stadium, opening night for the new stadium on week 0. That's the lone game on Fox for week 0, August 23rd. So that's 31 days away, 32 days away. I think that's right. And they play Fresno State to open. And then the following week, I know the first 2 weeks. The following week, we're doing a Thursday night game in Minnesota with Buffalo at Minnesota. So it'll be a little row your boat time at Minnesota. And then we're going to fly from there over to Ames, Iowa to get the Cyclones, who I think this is another team for them, for Coach Campbell, that could be a real sleeper nationally again. They return Rocco Beck at quarterback and another 10-win team from a season ago with a lot of returning starters. And they're playing that power from the FCS, the Jackrabbits of South Dakota. We'll have them on Fox right after the Texas-Ohio State game on the 30th. So we're getting a twofer in week 1, and we're doing the only game on Fox week 0. That's a 6:30 start, I think, Eastern, 5:30 Central. It'll be after the Iowa State K-State game, Farmageddon, that ESPN has in the afternoon.
A lot of spotters boards that week. Billy, sneak one in quick.
All right.
Speaking of spotters boards, you want to see a spotters board?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Wow.
Okay, so you still do your own.
I do. Iowa State, West Virginia. Let's see. There's Rocco Beck right there for you.
I love it.
And I hoard it. Like I say, I hold on to this stuff because you never know. You never know when you're going to get a team again, and you want to go back and say, okay, what was the story on him the last time you had him? All right, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. I'm not even going to try to say quick answer because I want to sit back and
you
hear
want the real answer.
Hear this answer. The Big Ten has won back-to-back national titles.
Right.
Is the SEC is going to be fine, right? But how much control has the Big Ten taken over just how general college football fans perceive SEC versus the Big Ten?
I don't think it's the fans necessarily's perception that's at issue. I think it's the media's perception to some extent that is at issue. And let me say this, I love the games. Even when I was doing game day, George knows this, I never wanted to be there, but I was having a blast. It was great for me. But I was watching Ron Franklin and Mike Patrick, and I'm like, man, I want to go out and do games. That's what I want to do. And I'm really glad I don't have to host pregame shows anymore, because as big as they've become, and they make a lot of money for both the SEC and ESPN, make a lot of money for Fox and for the Big Ten. But those shows now have become pep rallies with the gloves off, with one brand trying to knock out the other brand. I think the hiring of Pat McAfee to basically supplant Corso at ESPN, smart move. He's brought the 18 to 34 marketplace to them. And now you're seeing Dave Portnoy and Barstool teaming up with Fox, who is going to be as slanted towards Michigan and the Big Ten as anybody. I mean, it's going to be, you're seeing homerism now. And these are two legacy corporate media giants, okay? And that's kind of what's happening now. Media perception is driving this narrative that's pissing off a lot of guys that are traditional broadcast journalists that feel like we always should be right down the middle. When you call a game, you have to be down the middle. But when you're hosting a show, I mean, you got to be mindful of where you are. And where you are is they've got to host you. So you got to be great to your hosts. So what does the show turn into? Whether it's 3 hours of game day or 2 hours on Big Noon, it turns into a big pep rally for the home team. And to me, George, it cuts into the substance of the show. I think content, substantive content, is leaving college football in terms of the way it's being brought to the public. Okay. I think when we're out there calling games, the old school guys, the ones who are still wearing the headsets like you are now, guys like Sean McDonough, myself, Fowler, Gus Johnson, Jason Benetti, who I think is tremendous. It's also with us. We're out there just calling the game. All right. And to me, that's the last bastion of objectivity that we have in sports broadcasting today, because whether you like it or not, and it's not the fault of the talent, Rob Stone does a tremendous job. So does Reese Davis, but it's inevitable that when you're in these places, it's going to look like what you're a homer for the home team. You can't help it. There's no real getting around it, but that's sort of what's happened. And I think fans are still fans of their teams. They don't give a damn about the way we go about the game until you piss them off saying something bad about their team. Okay. Or if there is in my case, I'm always waiting for the phone to go off whenever there's an officials review. This little baby right here. I get the Dan Aykroyd on Jane Curtin line, Brando, you ignorant slut. Because they're doing what? They're showing all these different angles, and we're just saying what we see. Well, clearly the ball was out. And of course, the fan that's been drunk for probably about an hour and has already said fire the coach. And what the hell is that quarterback doing still out there? Once you get past the coach, the quarterback, and the officials, it's let's string up the announcer by the neck and lynch his butt as soon as this is over. So, we deal with that, but I've come to terms with that, and it's not something that. But when you're doing 3 hours of live studio television trying to create content, I think it becomes very difficult. It's a long day for all those guys, and I guarantee you, each one of them probably feels like when they're leaving, damn, I wish we could have gotten this in. I wish we could have gotten that done, and we really didn't get to do it. We were part of the really humble days where we were creating stuff like. Hey, Beans, you went 0 for 6 on your picks last week. This week, when you do your predictions, we're going to put you in a damn manhole cover with a hard hat on, okay? And people thought that was funny. Like the Corso stuff, is we were talking about Lee a moment ago. Lee was like our X's and O's guy. He was like Herb Street to our show. It was Bino that was the clown prince, and he didn't mind being the butt of the joke. And when they created this monster of theirs and made it the show of Behemoth in '93, when he pulled out the buckhead and the bucknuts guy and put the headgear on, he was mimicking Beano Cook. He flat out was mimicking what Beano had done for us.
He sure was
earlier. And just there's a whole generation of fans that don't realize that don't know. They don't even know who Beano Cook was or is, but that's where he got it. Lee was smart. I'll never forget, we left our first meeting after our first game day show upstairs, and it was Don Ohlmeyer, the noted producer from NBC and Monday Night Football fame, who owned a piece of Nabisco through marrying the daughter of the head of the Nabisco brands, and he was in charge of the tennis that we had, WTA tennis, and Steve Bornstein, who was our CEO and president. Actually, I think he might have been vice president of production then. But anyway, we're in his office, and he starts talking to Carrie and to Bino and to myself about what we need to do and things to remember. And he looked at Bino about the betting line, and he said, don't forget, now most of the people that are watching this, we're aiming it at the people that are betting on games. And Bino said, I got a blanking tout. I got a tout. You can't turn me into the Greek. If you want Jimmy the Greek, go get him. They fired him at CBS. Go get him. No, that's not what I mean, Bino. But you just need to say closer than the experts think. Buy a whisker. Take an early flight and leave at 4 over Ames, Iowa. Plus,
buy a whisker and a hook.
Buy a little hook. Yeah. And Bino's like, he was defiant. Like, if you want Jimmy the Blanking Greek, you can go hire him. He's in a horse race somewhere in New Jersey right now, for crying out loud. And so Lee's just sitting there watching this stuff. So when he started with Closer Than the Experts Think and Not So Fast, My Friend, all that stuff was a byproduct of what kind of blazed the trail for him, so to speak. And But when we walked out of that office, he said to me, George, he said, "You know what I'm going to be, sweetheart?" He always said, "Sweetheart."
Sweetheart.
He said, "You know what I'm going to be, sweetheart?" I said, "What's that, Lee?" "I'm going to be the Dick Vitale of college football." And man, he was.
He turned out that's exactly what he was.
He flat out is. The man's 90 years old now and beloved by everyone. And in those days, now he didn't care who he pissed off. He called Bill Curry's Alabama team a high school football team in 1986. He did. He said, "Curry's not going to Hurricane Gilbert. He don't want to go there. It's not because of Hurricane Gilbert. It's because of his quarterback situation. He'd rather play him later because this quarterback, he couldn't quarterback in Hoover right now." I mean, oh my God, you know. So it was an incredible time to be alive and to be a part of that show. Like I said, I'm forever grateful that I had to go through all that to get to the booth. But the memories I have are forever. And,
you are a piece of work.
Fun. Thanks, man.
You are so much fun. Can you do this again sometime?
Oh, sure, George. Anytime. You're one of my all-time favorites. We've gone
down some roads.
Yes, we
hey,
have.
Thank you. Loved seeing the rec room.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, and for all the Tennessee fans out there, yes, indeed. I got this puppy before Brent Musburger got his. How good is that? How good is that? Thank you,
That's
Jimmy
very
Hines.
good. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Haygood, who I think represented every Tennessee player that broke the law between 1980 and 2005.
I'm going to see Jimmy this weekend. I'll tell him you said hello.
Jeff Haygood. Jeff and Jimmy and the Knoxville quarterback club took care of me. And, they kind of got the ball rolling. When you get to a certain age, they start putting halls of fame and iconic and legendary and washed up and when the hell are you leaving? Those kinds of things start coming your way.
Tim, behave. I'll be watching.
Thanks, George. Kelly, nice meeting you at Long.
Yes, sir. You too. Appreciate it. Thank you.
That's a hell. You just have to be the best. You don't have to be the best team. Just be the best team today. By the way, Fowler does the best Lou Holtz ever. Chris does the greatest ever Lou Holtz. Yours is good, though, Kelly. Very good.
Appreciate it.
Honorable mention.
Take care. All right, buddy. Be well.
We got to go to the break. What an interview. He's incredible. Wow. And he's also got the best sense of humor. He is more fun at stuff like SEC basketball tournaments. Believe me, when he was there, you knew it. And when he wasn't there, you knew it because it wasn't as much fun. We're back after this.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Attention, Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign that went right to the wire. And this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets are on sale now. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois. It's big time. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Are you ready to begin? Trevecca Nazarene University. From calling to becoming.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
25 The Game, 94.9 The Fan, or Sports Talk 830. You can hear it all.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
So as you all can tell, we violated a few radio rules as far as, you know, when you go to commercial break. The last couple of days have really been hard for me. I needed Tim Brando. I needed his sense of humor.
That was awesome, man. I've never heard, like, he just didn't stop, man. You didn't have to really say anything for him. I hated to ask a relevant question, man. I enjoyed listening to y'all just talk about history, man. I really like that.
Here's where I would have gone. He had a very close relationship with a guy that I believe before SEC basketball really got big, there were 3 or 4 people that kept it relevant. Ray Mears at Tennessee, Adolph Rupp at Kentucky, Roy Skinner at Vandy, and Joe Dean. Joe Dean was the color analyst on the 2 p.m. SEC game of the week. He was string music. If for an older crowd, they'll know what I'm talking about. The younger ones will have no idea.
Right.
So I got to meet Joe Dean. I want to say I was like a sophomore in high school, and my dad arranged it. And Joe Dean and I ended up having quite the friendship until he passed away. He actually asked Jerry DiNardo, when DiNardo interviewed for the LSU job, do you know George Plaster? You know, and DiNardo calls me 2 days later and goes, how the hell do you know him? There's some amazing stuff from back then. Tim had all kinds of imitations, just a guy that put a sense of humor into his work. If you watch him now, he'll really have some fun with his color analysts. And there are a lot of announcers that don't do that. And I wish there were more that did.
He's a guy, he's perfect for the role he's in right now. And he'll probably admit he's not calling the biggest games of the week, but he elevates the games that he calls, especially right now. Like if y'all were to watch that Thursday, I think Buffalo at Minnesota game on FS1, you know, that may not be the normal game you watch, but if you were to tune into it and click on it as you're surfing through, you hear his voice and then Gardner, as he was talking about, you'll stay hooked. He's one of those guys that can keep you hooked, even when it may not be the biggest game. That's what I've noticed about him.
Tim had been back in the late 80s. Memphis State had a very good television basketball replay. And back then, the three schools, the three biggies in the state of Tennessee all had delayed TV broadcasts. Tim Brando was doing Memphis State with my buddy John Albright, where Brando got the nickname Hollywood. Bob Bell was doing Vanderbilt replays on Channel 2 locally, and Tennessee began doing the same thing. And this is before you had before you had a bunch of TV games that you could watch. Tape delay was still a big deal. And Brando one night, I didn't know him, but after a game went to dinner in Memphis, and my buddy John Albright told him that I was catching a lot of crap because I was replacing a legend in Jack Eaton. And Tim came over to my table. I'd never met him, and said, "Hey, I know what's going on. Hang in there," which was really cool.
That is cool for somebody in that business for so long to say that to you, to a young guy coming up. It was interesting to me just to, you've heard I heard his voice when I was a kid, and just to hear that and just being able to interview him, I thought that was pretty cool. I really did. I didn't want to ask a question relevant. I really didn't. I was just wanting to hear y'all go at it, man, because he was like, you just give him something and he'll go off on tangents, and I love it.
Absolutely. And there were some real characters back then in the SEC. You had Hugh Durham, who about once a year.
Wes's dad.
No.
Right?
No. Hugh Durham, Woody Durham, the voice of North Carolina.
Oh, so no relation.
No, Hugh Durham was the basketball coach at Georgia.
Georgia, right.
Hugh had this squeaky voice. And Hugh, about once a year, would get thrown out of a game. And he happened to get thrown out one night against Vandy. And so the deal was that he's stalling around trying to make it difficult for the officials. And so he goes over to Vandy's bench. The game was in Athens, and he starts shaking hands with every person. And C.M. Newton looks at him and says, "Hugh, you know you're going to have to leave."
That's funny.
There was a lot of really funny stuff back then, and it was not as big business as it is today. So all the traveling parties, broadcasters, they all knew each other. It was a different day and time, and in a lot of respects, it was more fun. And Tim was at the, he was at the forefront of a lot of that.
That's the first time I've ever heard him interviewed too, man. That was awesome. I could have listened to that all day. I'm sure the listeners could too. They could listen to it all day with his stories. He's got so much knowledge and stories. And that Beano Cook, I don't know if Billy knows who you know who Beano Cook is, Billy, right?
I remember I just remember seeing pictures of him.
God, that picture right there.
That was right on. Right on.
Look at that.
So this was the first college game day. Is that what they call it, college game day?
I don't know that I don't think they ever took one out into.
So this was studio and just
it was
Saturday
all studio.
morning.
And when they finally did take it out, what they ended up realizing was they were going to have some serious security. If you look now, there's sort of a kind of a mesh thing that if you decide you're going to throw something at them, it's not going to get through there.
Yeah, McAfee'd be in the hospital by now without those.
Probably so. Anyway, Kelly, I know you'll be thrilled to know that Plaster Bet of the Day is in the On Deck Circle.
Did you hit it again last night, George? You on fire?
One of two.
One of two.
Okay.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Not what we were looking for, but not awful. Kind of halfway. Okay. 2 wins tonight. I'll tell you what they are when we come back. This is 94.9 The Fan.
Looking for your favorite sports?
How about sports? You follow sports?
We probably have it. Just log on to the Information Superhighway. Oh, they don't call it that anymore?
To start, press any key. Where's the any key?
Head to thegamenashville.com.
The password, we're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here
What an age we live in.
on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Experience the spirit of the American West at the Buffalo Bills Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 museums under one roof. Each exhibit a step into another era. Located 50 miles from Yellowstone. Begin your adventure at centerofthewest.org.
Hey guys, it's Mike from Newton Chevrolet in Russellville. Summer in Russellville. It's got its own special tune, doesn't it? The happy cheers from a ball game at the park, the sizzle of a backyard barbecue with friends and family, the gentle splash of a kayak hitting the water out at Lake Malone. That's the summer playlist for our corner of Kentucky. Want to make sure you can take in every bit of it? Find a ride you love. Visit NewtonChevroletRussellville.com to start shopping our inventory online. Click the Fast Pass button to save time. See website for details. I love the lake.
Get ready for an unforgettable night where Nashville's spirit lifts its littlest hearts. Trinetics Rock the Cradle returns September 18th at the Pinnacle at Nashville Yards, bringing a private concert by country music's Tim McGraw. Exclusive tickets available at rockthecradle.org. Every moment powers hope for newborns and mothers cared for at the Beeman Neonatal Intensive Care Unit and the Ascension St. Thomas Foundation. Get tickets now at rockthecradlenashville.org.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Final segment on a Wednesday. Time now for Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. 1-2 night. Last night lost the Toronto pick, but the Cleveland Guardians got a win.
Or soon to be the Indians. Who knows? Guess what? I'm going with them again. Cleveland seems like they're on a roll right now. There's the first one. Philly is also on a roll, and they're at home against the Red Sox. And so, Kelly, we're taking them, going 2 home teams. The other being the Indians, the Guardians. They're at home against Baltimore, and tomorrow will be 2-0.
So,
I think so.
I know it pains you to go for the Phillies, though. The Braves aren't going to catch them, huh?
The horse is so far out of that barn. Listen, give me credit for one thing, Kelly. I have been saying for a good while,
you have.
It's over. This
ain't
happening.
Danny kept saying, which we'll talk to him tomorrow, but Danny kept saying, hey, I still think the Braves are an 82 win team or something like that. And I'm like, oh, whoa.
I don't know. Yeah. We're trotting out some bums.
This bullpen.
That bullpen. Good Lord. I'll say this for their bullpen. Take a good look at a lot of those people. You're never going to see them again.
And yell.
Yell is one of those. Anyway, thanks to hey, let me do this before we end. Please keep Willie Donick and Evie and Mahoney in your thoughts and prayers. This is a guy that has shown incredible strength during this 9 to 12 months that Aaron has had cancer. And for those of you who maybe are not aware of it, Aaron passed away early yesterday morning. There will be a service, a celebration of life on August the 23rd. I don't know a whole lot more. This was some tough news for all of us. He was an incredible human being. Please keep them in their prayers, in your prayers. Kelly, see you tomorrow.
See y'all, man.
Billy,
see you next week.
Soon. Absolutely. This is 94.9, The Fan.